Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Wu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is drama filled as always with the Dallas Cowboys. It is, I don't know why we just can't do anything normal. Just anything normal. You know, everybody deals with understanding it costs money to run a business and things. And so we're going to call this the Captain Obvious report here because we have, oh boy, Ian Rappaport on the Rich Eisen show basically saying that expect Dak Prescott to hit free agency if no contract by week one. Also, we have Pat McAfee putting out there that maybe one of the reasons why quarterback compensation kind of leveled off and flattened out and that the Dallas Cowboys aren't signing anybody is about the $14.1 billion that the NFL may have to go and pay. So let's listen in to a couple of these takes and see, is this correct?
Why are some of these contracts going to go down, Ian, or not? Are we going to be in a month from now wondering why the status quo is still status quo? What's happening?
What's happening?
I think with CeeDee Lamb, I would not say that it's close because there's a lot of work to be done, but it feels like that's closer than Dak. Just my general feel.
Mm-hmm. You would want it to be.
Mostly because the market is pretty well defined. Like we saw where Justin Jefferson is. He got a 4-year deal, $35 million per year, 140 total. I wouldn't be surprised if CeeDee comes in around there, maybe not above, but around there, as he should. I mean, he was a great, great player. If the Cowboys are sort of on the same page with that, and again, like there's a lot that has to go into these things, but it's not like that hard of a deal to do. The Dak one is harder. Not being able to franchise him, not being able to trade him. Not that they would, but I'm saying like that's basically just gives Dak all the leverage. Mm-hmm. It's honestly just a matter of like how much does he want, and does he, are the Cowboys going to do what's necessary to keep him there, to keep him away from free agency? Because if he's a free agent next year, he'll be the biggest free agent we've ever seen, biggest free agent in NFL history, and it's like people ask me how much money would Dak make in free agency? How high can you count?
60 million per
in free agency next year?
Yeah.
Higher, more. Always over.
So then why won't the Cowboys pay him?
Because they're stupid.
I think they've made some offers. They're just not there yet. It's these deals are hard because I think if you're a team and you have a quarterback that's highly priced with a ton of leverage, you'd like to pay not as much. And I think if you're Dak Prescott, you'd like to get a lot. So figuring out the combination between not as much and a lot has been hard. I think a deal is there to be done.
Right.
I just don't know if it's actually going to be done before they start the season. And then, once he starts the season, then it's sort of like, well, that probably, if he doesn't have a deal by the season, I think it's probably a free agent next year.
So you think CeeDee's done before the season? It's your best guess.
I think there's a path toward a deal that, if everyone is pretty reasonable, I think could get done. Yeah.
Okay. And Dak is in anybody's guess. And Micah's a 2025 situation?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So hearing that, let's go and put together what Pat McAfee actually has.
Look at, obviously last year, everyone was talking about how good Dallas was. They get in the playoffs. A lot of people saying, hey, is this the team that can finally kind of, break the seal and at least go to an NFC championship, win a Super Bowl? Obviously, they get embarrassed by the Packers in the playoffs. But Jerry has been saying all offseason, hey, listen, we're all in. They understand kind of the time is now, especially with McCarthy potentially being on his last year. Dak, obviously, you hear that if you're a Cowboys fan, that's got to be like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, lame duck quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. But then you also, a lot of leverage for sure. You look at the CD situation though, like, is that going to get done? That's still a big deal. And then in terms of just who they lost, like they lost Tyron Smith, they lost Tyler Biotish, so like two stalwarts on their offensive line. Got rid of Leighton Vander Esch, who kind of had always been hurt. So, that I guess that's kind of a, who knows. But then also Michael Gallup, who was their number 2, get rid of him, and then he goes to the Raiders and just kind of retires out of nowhere. Really, in terms of like who they brought in, they got Tyler Guyton in the draft, who you assume he's probably they'll plug and play him on the offensive line somewhere. But they brought Zeke back, and that's kind of like their big splash. And then Michael Kendricks, or was it Michael Kendricks, or was it was Eric Kendricks, excuse me. So they bring him in, and then obviously Mike Zimmer's the new DC. So it seems like we always talk about the Cowboys going into camp in the season, and obviously the expectations are what they are, but this team almost feels like it's not as good as the team was last year.
Oh no!
And
it's Mike McCarthy's last year on his contract.
Potentially, but then you just look at, I mean, like their 3 best players all want new contracts, and so it's like it's kind of if the Cowboys don't make it to an NFC Championship or like go to a Super Bowl this year, like there's a chance that the Cowboys of next year look much, much differently than what they look like right now.
Wild time for the Dallas Cowboys. And this is Jerry Jones, kind of talking publicly after the court case with DirecTV or the lawsuit for the entire Sunday ticket thing. And in this from Clarence Hill, and this is great reporting. We appreciate the hell out of it. Shout out to Florio for tipping us off to this entire thing at Pro Football Talk. Look at what Jerry Jones says after the testimony in the Sunday ticket. That's exactly what I'm really trying to tell everybody is, frankly, I've got a better feel than other people because I have a sense of what revenues might be for the whole league, Jones said. And so that if you see me optimistic, then you must know that I think it's pretty good. If you see me a little cautious, you must know that I'm being cautious. I'm the best at looking around corners as far as body language and instincts. I'm better than anybody. Ooh. So are you being optimistic or cautious with Cowboys contracts? As Deion Sanders said, both. Jerry Jones replied. All right, well, one thing's not like the other, okay? Because this answer right here that he gives in this paragraph about having a sense of what the future looks like is vastly different than a both situation down there with optimistic being one of the options. It's like he has been one of the head media guys in the league for a long time. Because the Dallas Cowboys are on primetime all the time, people didn't know, actually, are you doing that so that you keep Jerry happy because Jerry's part of the media? Or are they doing that because the Dallas Cowboys fan base is so big? I think one thing kind of goes with the next, and Jerry has been able to operate and negotiate media deals in a fantastic fashion for the NFL. But him basically saying to the rest of the NFL, I have no idea what revenues are going to be. $14 billion is currently being asked of us in a litigation, in a lawsuit over the Sunday ticket shit. So he's wondering if salary cap's going to end up going back down from this entire thing. How would that even be possible with the way media's going? But that is kind of what he's indicating. He's like, so I'm going to wait and see how this entire thing goes. And he's like, I know more than anybody. That's wild to think about because Jerry has been a part of the information committee for a long time. And him just saying that out loud is like, everybody, all these big deals that are coming out, like, better hold the fucking horses.
Yeah.
We have no idea where this thing's headed going. That's basically what he said there and implied.
For sure. So then if you couple that with, I think it was at practice, a couple people were asking him about the Dak contract and just like, where's kind of the disconnect? Why aren't we hearing anything about
crazy.
this? Like, are you going to be able to match the number that he wants? And Jerry just very quickly, yes, I believe we will. But again, it all depends on how we do. Like, he kind of just, it's like he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He obviously knows Dak has leverage in this situation, so he doesn't want to give anything away. But you can't assume that if the Cowboys do exactly what they did last year, they go to the playoffs and everyone's talking about how this could be the team to kind of break the seal, and then they flame out in the first round. Like, there's no way that Jerry's going to give him $60 million plus, and then on top of that, it's okay, McCarthy's out. What if you bring in a defensive coach? Like, how much? Like, it really is kind of almost like this year is like a breaking point. I feel like for the Cowboys, like they really need to kind of figure out what's going to happen next.
It'll go down in history for sure, no matter what happens or what takes place. And congrats to the Dallas Cowboys having to figure it out. And maybe they do all view it as one last hurrah here.
Yeah.
And hey, one last hurrah.
One last hurrah is correct. So Pat McAfee does bring up an interesting point that Jerry Jones does know more than most owners do about the litigation because he was one of the plaintiffs. Not the plaintiffs. One of the him and Roger Goodell were definitely speaking at the lawsuit. And if you don't know what it is DirecTV, which had Sunday Ticket, which ended up going to YouTube TV. The price, basically, they're looking at it as price fixing, that it was overcharged, and the NFL likes to keep it as a premium product. And basically, a lawsuit that started in 2016, where they and things were being overcharged for the use of Sunday Ticket. Basically, the judge sided with them. It was a $4.7 million settlement, and for whatever reason, to appeal it, you have to. It's 3 times the actual amount. I guess that's because of the length of time that the whole suit has gone through, and this may change the landscape of what the NFL is able to charge in the future. And if this ends up cutting into the revenue for television, of course, that will definitely change where the salary cap goes. So maybe Jerry Jones has a little insider trading information, and that's why one of the reasons why he's trying to lowball. And make no mistake about it, Stephen Jones is back to the old, well, when you're here with the Cowboys, you got no state taxes, and you're going to get more of the local media and the commercials and the ads. You can have a side job here because we're not going to pay you like everybody else is getting paid. Yeah. Sometimes I hate this team. All right, good people. We'll talk about this more tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern.